Hey, you're welcome to Boxing Media Hub with your host for this evening, Enda, and my good mate Jam. And tonight we're going to do a fantasy fight of two of my favourite fighters of all time, Sugar Ray Leonard versus Roy Jones Jr. So before we have any of that, let's get into some of this. Have some of this. Okay, so the tale of the tape of these two all-time greats. In the red corner, we've got the All-American hero, Sugar Ray Leonard, who had 40 fights even, 36 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. 25 of those 36 wins coming by way of knockout. In the blue corner, we've got Floyd Mayweather Jr., who's had 50 fights, 0 losses, and 0 draws. 27 of them coming by way of knockout, so just slightly over 50% versus 25 over 36. A much that's 5/7, 5/7. It's a big disparity there in the two. Ray Leonard has a resume that really rivals anyone's ever. I mean, even his last few fights: Hector Camacho, Terry Norris, Robert Duran, Thomas Hearns, Hagler, Finch, Hearns, Robert Duran twice, Dave Boy Green, Benitez. Like, it really is a who's who of who he's fought. And then, of course, we have Floyd Mayweather Jr., who could say he's fought everyone as well. Manny Pacquiao, albeit a bit too late. Marcos Mandia, Sal Canelo Alvarez, Miguel Cotto, Ortiz, Shane Mosley, Juan Manuel Marquez, Ricky Hatton, Oscar De La Hoya, Zab Judah, Arturo Gatti. You know, they've both fought all of the names. Diego Corrales, of course, as well on his resume. It's both of them have an amazing resume, and it would be very difficult, I think, to. But I would love to have a ringside seat at this, and it's obviously going to be in Las Vegas. It can't be anywhere else, and it's going to be in the MGM Grand in that traditional hotel. And I mean, is it going to be over 12 rounds or over 15? I think, unfortunately for Mr. Leonard, this will be a 12-round fight. So, Jam, who you got and how have you got them?
I'd go Mayweather on points, to be honest. I think he'd just be a bit too slick. If Leonard could catch him, he could knock him out, of course, but Mayweather just doesn't get hit enough, does he?
No, he doesn't. And at his peak, Mayweather is definitely avoiding being hit like the plague. And that's his route to victory for me in this fight, because if Mayweather were to try and outbox or outpunch Leonard, he would come up short. I think Leonard was definitely a more powerful puncher and could hurt more, and he's fought over 15 rounds, so stamina is not an issue for him. Obviously, his eye is an issue, but this is peak versus peak, so his eye is fine in this fight.
Yeah.
For me, it's one of those that, I mean, I love Sugar Ray Leonard, and I admire Floyd Mayweather, the boxer, and the boxer only, by the way. But this is going to be so tricky. Like, I just think it will be an amazing fight. I think it will be a brilliant fight. I think it will be fight of the millennium.
Of all time. It'd be the best fight to ever happen.
Oh, one of the best fights ever.
It'd be right up there. Like, you could say Sugar Ray Robinson, maybe, in the middleweight with Joe Kawasaki.
Well, the one I would like to see would be Mayweather against Robinson, but we're doing Mayweather against Leonard here. So this is at a higher weight. I think we're going to go around 147 for this fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, my heart is saying Leonard, and my head is saying
Mayweather. Same as me.
Leonard. I think he's just from that era where boxing was just a bit more. It required more. I mean, his level of opponent was better. You know, the output was better. The stamina was better. Boxing was at a higher standing in society. You know, I mean, and he was one of the four kings. Mayweather will never be known as a four king or a king or anything. You know, he'll be just known as that boxer from the turn of the century.
He's known as man, isn't he? The man who made all
He
the
was a money
paper.
man, but he was Pretty Boy Floyd, and when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he was fairly good boxer. But then he became Floyd Money Mayweather, and he chased the
Just
silver
ducked
dollar.
and just
With
turned the
all that.
shoulder and just conned referees, didn't he? Just
Well, he didn't con referees. That's not true at all. I mean,
well, I
like,
mean, like with the shoulder thing that he used to do. He used to like do that, didn't he? And knock people off him, like he did with Hatton and stuff. I didn't like that. That was the only thing I never liked.
Hatton had his own stupid little tricks that he did when he had his own personal referee refereeing all his fights.
Yeah, Joe Cortez.
No,
Cortez.
no, Ricky Hatton.
I can't remember the rest
He
name now.
refereed all his fights. But anyway, Joe Cortez suddenly didn't let Ricky Hatton do things that were illegal in boxing, and all of a sudden Ricky Hatton had a problem with that. But Floyd Mayweather was levels above Ricky Hatton anyway.
Yeah, it was never going to end over Ricky.
He just bounced him off the ring post, and that was the end of that. And
broke
then
my heart, that did. That was one of the worst days of my life, Ender, honestly.
It was one of the best days of my life. I won loads of money that night, and I was in the MGM Grand, and I enjoyed every second of it.
Oh,
and all the Brits that were booing the American national anthem were suddenly silenced.
I actually cried. I did. I cried.
Don't cry. Don't cry over Ricky Hatton, because
Ricky was my god, man. I grew up watching Ricky though. He was like, I literally loved him. I went to his fight, like I said, last November. Just November before. It's just he was a hero of mine.
Stephen has come in here, and he's an oracle of both eras, because he's watched all of the Sugar Ray on points, and I would concur with that. I still think it could go the distance, but Sugar Ray will win on points. Floyd's a great defense and sound chin, but I'd back Ray in this 100%. And I agree with Stephen, because Ray has got what Mayweather hadn't got, and that was three worthy opponents that were up to his caliber. I mean, Mayweather, you could say, okay, Pacquiao might have been had they fought sooner, but they didn't, so we'll never know.
And he fought Canelo too early as well. Canelo was still young when he fought him.
It's not Mayweather's fault Canelo was too young.
No, of course not.
Like, I mean, Mayweather was fighting who was put in front of him. I mean, the only real problem fight I have with Mayweather was the fact that Conor McGregor's fight was called a fight and not an exhibition, because that's all it was.
That was a joke.
He's 49-0 for me. He's not 50-0, and that's simple.
That is so true, yeah. Definitely. Tell you who was the best opponent against Mayweather. Do you remember the first Marcos Maidana fight?
Yes.
He gave Mayweather some hell, didn't he?
Absolutely, and that's what you want. And I mean, even Castillo or Corrales gave Mayweather hell. I mean, there was so many fights there.
As well, Castillo had a good go, didn't he?
I mean, some people said, Castillo won that, but I think that's a lot of anti-Mayweather hate.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he lost it.
It
was close. It was close, and you're not expecting a close fight with Mayweather.
Yeah, it was close, but Mayweather still won. Like, I don't think I don't think Mayweather got a decision for him. Like, he didn't get a robbery in the way Canelo did against Triple G. I mean, that was a fucking robbery.
That was blatant.
I don't think Mayweather lost the fight convincingly. Roy had blinding speed and killer instinct. Exactly, that's the whole point. I mean, this was boxing at its zenith, and you had these four kings, and it was wonderful, and it was magnificent, and it was everything. It was wonderful about boxing. This was in the 80s when, instead of watching heavyweights, people were down watching middleweights. Lightweight / middleweights, and this is. And Stephen, I'm a Floyd fan as well. I paid lots of money to go see Floyd, and I think Floyd is the best of his generation. But I think Leonard, in a supremely talented generation, is the best of his generation. And I think it was Matt Christie from Boxing or from The Ring magazine that said the best boxer alive, living boxer is
Floyd.
Sugar Ray Leonard. And I would agree.
Yeah.
Leonard
beat Floyd as well, didn't he?
The only boxers better than him are dead. I mean, Robinson obviously is better than him, and then obviously you could argue the toss about heavier weights, about, is Muhammad Ali pound for pound better than Sugar Ray Leonard? That's a question that I'm not going to answer, because
I did a poll on that the other day, Ender. I done who did I do? Roberto Duran, Floyd Mayweather. No, sorry, I didn't put Mayweather in it in the end. It was Duran, Leonard, Robinson, and who won it? Muhammad Ali. And he got
but Robinson should have won.
Votes.
Robinson should have won it. Even Muhammad Ali will acknowledge that Robinson was great. And, I mean, I didn't know Sugar Ray Robinson. I knew about him, but I didn't know him until Stephen of this chat sent me DVDs, and I watched them, and I could see Floyd Mayweather, I could see Muhammad Ali in him, and
Like
they
all the
copied
skills.
him. They copied him, and Leonard. Sorry, Floyd Mayweather even said it. Robinson is a style that he looked at to copy, and he did it very well, but not obviously as good as Sugar Ray Robinson. But we're not talking about Sugar Ray Robinson here. We're talking about Sugar Ray Leonard.
We keep going
And
back to
Sugar
him.
Ray Leonard was so in awe of Sugar Ray Robinson, he took his moniker, and that wasn't even Sugar Ray Robinson's name. The only reason he took that name was because he some other guy had his name and he didn't need a different name to fight, so that's the name he picked. But like I would genuinely believe. I mean, you could the MGM Grand, Caesar's Palace. You could. I don't want it in Saudi Arabia. I want this has to happen in Vegas for me, and it over 12 rounds, and it will go the full 12, and it'll be brutal and brilliant and fantastic, and it'll be a real show of pure boxing skill. But Sugar Ray Leonard, for his brutality, that Sugar Ray, that Floyd Mayweather Jr. never had to face. I think that's why Sugar Ray Leonard will come out on top and be victorious over the 12 rounds. But it will be an amazing fight, and I will be honoured to be ringside at this.
I would have loved it. I would give anything to go to that fight if it would ever happen, but it's never going to now, unfortunately.
So only not now, but I mean, like even had it happened at a catchweight, it wouldn't be good because Leonard obviously was injured and he was too late. So I wouldn't want it to happen in real life. I only want it to happen in fantasy, where they're both at their peak and they're fighting at their absolute primes. I mean, Leonard, who was robbed of a gold medal in Seoul, and Mayweather Leonard, who won his gold medal in Montreal, I think it was, and Floyd Mayweather, who was robbed of his gold medal in Seoul. But like, there you go. That's what we have it. Stick it in the comment section. Who have you got and how have you got it? Are we wrong? Are we writing off? Well, I don't think we're writing off Floyd Mayweather, but are there people there who say Floyd Mayweather would win this fight, and tell us how and why? Because obviously both of us have gone for Sugar Ray Leonard. Did you go points or decision there, Jam?
I actually went for Mayweather by points.
Sorry, we've two different people.
It was Stephen in the comments who went for Leonard.
Sorry, it was Stephen. So Stephen went for Leonard. Stephen.
I went for Mayweather on points.
The ball, and I would bow to Stephen's knowledge because Stephen was alive when Leonard was in his zenith. I obviously was alive, but I mean, he fought in 1980 and I was born, so that's when we're talking about, the Brawl of Montreal was in 1980. And if you ever want to see a great boxing fight, watch that. Just type it into YouTube and watch it because it is great boxing. It's boxing at its very, very best. That's real top class,
old school boxing.
Floyd Mayweather, I'd say, would love to have been in that era, because he would have loved to pit himself against the greats. But
he wouldn't have got money. He wouldn't have made all the paper though. There was not that so much money in it back then, was there really? To the same.
Well, there was. It's all about the time value of money, and he would have made a lot. He would have made a lot of coin back then because boxing was more valuable back then, if you know what I mean.
It was a major sport, wasn't it? It was the major sport.
Huge. I mean, like, everything stopped when the four kings fought each other, and I'd say if Floyd was there, it'd be the five kings, and certainly he'd mix it with all four of them. I'm not sure how we do in the other three matches, but I would probably be backing Floyd, would you believe, in most of them.
Yeah.
But no, not against Leonard. I just think Leonard had that X factor, and I think it's his power that really, will come to the fore against Mayweather. So it's Sugar Ray Leonard's power that I think will see him through. He won't knock out Leonard, he won't knock out Mayweather. Mayweather certainly won't knock out Leonard, but it will definitely go the distance. But I've gone for Leonard, and Jam's gone for Floyd. So Stephen's gone for Leonard as well. Let us know in the comments what you think, and it's going to be good. Right, Stephen has put in another comment. Leonard Hearns 1 was the first fight I remember watching. I was 10. What an introduction to boxing. But my first memory boxing, like I remember Barry McGuigan fighting, but I was too little for that. But the first fight that stuck in my brain was Ben McClellan. and that was a vicious,
Is that when
vicious war.
McClellan got the brain damage?
That was the one where McClellan
Breaks my heart. I watched a documentary on that not long back. Again,
but that was a really brutal fight. You know,
angry,
War Baby, as Donald McCrae, who wrote a great book on it, that fight. But anyway, I'm digressing. We're talking about Leonard Mayweather here. Let us know in the comments who you got, and we're going to have a little word from our sponsors before we go. Anyway, thanks for watching. Put your prediction in the comments. Tell us how and tell us who and how will be the victor. And thank you very much.